So let us discuss with the third short answer question. What are the literary sources for modern period? Write a note on time in history. What are literary sources for modern period? And we need to look at time in history. Okay, so we can write the literary sources for the period. So instead of for the period, we can write the literary sources for the here you can write modern period are many and varied. These are original documents like the government reports, administrative reports, official records of the British, surveys, and so on. All these records have been carefully preserved in archives and museums. This line is optional if you want to write or not. But what is the basic answers? What are the literary sources for the modern period to study? These are basically government reports, administrative reports, official records of the British, surveys, and these things. Okay. Also, the other part of the question was to write about time in history. So we can say that a span of time is more important in history rather than a precise date. History that we taught a few decades ago was all political history. It is easier to define dates for events in political history. For example, we know that the sequence of events year-wise of the revolt of 1857, but for social, economic, and cultural history, specified dates cannot be assigned. And here a whole example is there. Can we pinpoint the day, the month, the year when the feeling of nationalism started growing among the people of India? So this is just a small part because this is a short answer questions. Otherwise, if this is a big answer, a long answer question, and if there is a long answer question that how is time important in history, then you can even describe the more detailed part. Okay, here you don't need to write can we pinpoint the day. So you can actually write, for example, we cannot answer to the question that what was the exact day, the month, or the year when the feeling of nationalism started growing among the people of India. So what are they saying? Initially, history was literally related to dates which could be defined day by day, what sequence took when. But later on and this was called the political history. Okay, but for events for which we do not have dates, like social, economic, and cultural history together, for like when did nationalism emerged in India or in the minds or heart of people. So you cannot say on Monday on the 5th of August or something like that. No, it was a long procedure, and over the period of time this feeling emerged. Okay, so we got the answer of the question, that what are literary sources for modern period. Okay, and we have written a note on history. Now the last short answer question is, what is the modern period in India associated with? So the answer is here, the modern period in India is associated with the establishment of British colonial rule and the fight we put up against it, the social cultural change that came about in India under the influence of British. See, you might say, ma'am, but the Indian historians say that when India was under colonial rule, it was not modern. But they are generally asking, how is India, in modern period defined? Generally, India is defined when we were under British rule, and how did we fight against the Britishers and the social cultural change that came about in India under the influence of the British. Okay.